Welcome, everyone, to the Play It Down podcast. This is episode number 1, our first foray into this little fun stuff called the podcast. You got me, Scott Lavchek, also known as Scooter, and you got Tom Jones, also known as Jones. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open, the 2025 U.S. Open on our little show today. We're going to kind of set the stage for Oakmont again. So we have the Oakmont Country Club hosting their 10th U.S. Open. Brief little background on the Oakmont Country Club. It opened in 1903. The course was designed by Henry, kind of in the style of the Scotland Links courses. It's gone through a bunch of changes, but it has hosted a plethora of championships from 6 U.S. Amateur Champions, 2 U.S. Women's Open Champions, 3 Intercollegiate Championships, and this will be its 10th U.S. Open. Couple of traits about Oakmont. The fairways are tight, and the rough is long and deep and lush and brutal. The greens are slick and fast. Supposedly they will be running between 14.5 and 15.5 on the stimp meter this weekend or this tournament, Thursday through Sunday. And if the weather and that wind kicks up a little bit and dries out, it will probably be extremely tough, and we will be seeing multiple 3-putts during this tournament. Some legendary moments at Oakmont, obviously in 1963, that's the tournament that Jack Nicklaus, I believe, won his first U.S. Open, not his first major. Kind of the big signature moment in that was him defeating Arnold Palmer in an 18-hole playoff by 4 shots, and kind of the big handshake that kind of passed the torch from Arnold Palmer to Jack Nicklaus. 1994, you had a 3-way playoff that Ernie Els edged out and won. And then 2007 at +5, you had Angel Cabrera and his pretty much 2,000 cigarettes during 18 holes, edging out Tiger Woods and Jim Furyk, who finished in second at +6. And obviously, we can't forget 2016 at Oakmont and the big controversy with Dustin Johnson. I have him winning that tournament at -5, even though technically it was a -4. I'll show you we'll go ahead and show you the controversy here real quick. If you do remember, this is when the ball moved backwards. And somehow the USGA ruled it that Dustin caused the ball to move backwards. This is when Twitter was kind of first starting to kind of get its teeth in 2016, and you had Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy all yelling and complaining about the USGA and calling a penalty on Dustin Johnson.
By the way, Scott, he was going to shoot about +20 this year in the U.S. Open.
Why are you going there? You know what? He may. I'm not going to say he won. I know. Listen, Dustin's one of my LIV guys, and he's not making the cut. I will give you that. He's not making the cut. So, what is it going to take to make the cut at the 2025 U.S. Open? So we think about, what you have to do to make an Open. And so typically with U.S. Opens, accuracy is not a huge deciding factor. Fairways hit doesn't necessarily help with your final score. You really have to hit greens and stuff like that. However, that is not really the case when you think of a few U.S. Open courses, one being Oakmont. Oakmont and probably Winged Foot are very important for that driving accuracy, and you'll see the people that have the higher driving accuracy at those 2 courses typically do better in the tournament. So Winged Foot and Oakmont especially, you just have to hit fairways. If you don't, you're in trouble. So with that in mind, let's look at some driving accuracy numbers on the PGA Tour. So here we have the PGA Tour, and I threw in LIV Golf because I have to. I'm a LIV fan, so I gotta give some props to my LIV boys. Now, if we look at the rank on the PGA Tour of driving accuracy, Aaron Ra is number 1. Now, I can see him making the cut. I don't think that's a huge long shot. I don't see him coming anywhere near winning this tournament, though. I don't know what you think, Tom.
No, I mean, I think this is a very important statistic, I think, for this tournament, to be accurate and to be in the fairway to the, on as many holes as possible. And this is a pretty good statistic. I mean, I look at a player like Corey Connors, which is on this chart, one of the more accurate drivers on the tour. And then you couple that with his iron play, which is also extremely solid. Where he does struggle, I think, is around the greens if he's not on them, right? He's an okay putter, but he really does not scramble all that well. So you take some risk taking a guy like him, but at odds of around 60-1 right now, he's a player because he's accurate and then has some really strong iron play, is the type of player I kind of look at and he's done well in other tournaments and he's won on the tour. So I kind of agree with you on the top there with Aaron Ray. I mean, he's somebody that would be more of a top 20 guy, maybe you'd bet, or perhaps maybe to make the cut.
I like that top 20. I wasn't even thinking top 20. I kind of like that for him. Now, on the LIV side, really, you got Bubba Watson, who's in this. I think he's in this tournament. Let me just double check, make sure he is. No, he is not. Let me tell you, he is not in the tournament. So on the LIV guy side, you got Bryson and John Rahm. Richard Bland is in the tournament. I think he can make some noise. I think he'll make the cut. I don't necessarily think he's a top 20 guy. I think he'll end up finishing somewhere in the middle to the back end of that. I love Phil. I don't see him making the cut. I would love for him to make the cut. God, I would love for him to win it. I just don't see that happening. Who else we got there? And Terrell Hatton. Terrell Hatton is just a fun golfer to watch play. I mean, he can shoot 5 under, then he'll shoot 5 over. So he's just fun to play. I have no idea what he'll end up doing.
I mean, looking at your statistics here, though, Scooter, I mean, you really look at the guys on the LIV side that you would normally think about, like maybe a Neiman. They don't really show up as having the great driving accuracy. So
no,
I mean, guys at the top,
Yeah, Waco Neiman, he's a green and regulation guy. He's a proximity to the hole kind of guy. He's definitely not a driving. He hits the ball a ton, but his accuracy off the tee box is not always there.
Right.
Now, I will say with all these – go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say your stats on the LIV golfers are not strong for the stronger golfers in this area. Yeah. No,
I agree. And I do think they will struggle overall. I think the top 5 of them will be fine and will do okay. But I think overall, as I think there are 14 LIV golfers that are in the U.S. Open. I typically, when I've looked at majors and the LIV guys, it's usually around 60% of them make the cut. I don't necessarily think it'll be that high. I think it will be below 50% in this tournament.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. We also have a couple other metrics here we'll look at. We have scrambling, proximity to the hole, and greens in regulation. I couldn't get that much information on this one. I mean, other than I think proximity to the hole with Scotty Scheffler, Russell Henley, and Shane Lowry. Obviously, all 3 of them are in the tournament. So, I mean, I think Shane Lowry might be a flyer in like a top 5, top 10 bet. I would love for him to win it. I don't see him winning it. I still think that I think the John Rahms, the Bryson DeChambeaus, the Rorys, the Scotties, I obviously they're your favorites. Then you got, green and regulation, Sepp Straka. Again, I think Sepp Straka is a great player. He's won a few tournaments this year. However, listen, I think Jack said it at Memorial. These guys don't have the pedigree yet. Maybe he can break through at Oakmont. He's a good driver and he's good in greens and red. I mean, it does set up for someone like a Sepp Straka to do well in this tournament. I necessarily really kind of don't see it, but I guess we'll find out, right? All right. So now let's look at PGA and LIV guys. Let's see who's in this thing. So what I have here, I have the 14 LIV guys that are in it. So if we just go down the list, Bryson DeChambeau, he should make the cut. Rahm should make the cut. Neiman should make the cut. I think Koepka and Johnson, I'd give Koepka the edge over Johnson. I don't see Johnson making the cut. I really don't see Koepka making the cut either. I think Terrell Hatton can make it. I don't see Phil making it. Mark Leishman's interesting. He's playing really well. He's been playing solid on LIV. He's hitting the ball really, really well right now. I could see him as a make-the-cut guy. Carlos Ortiz, I don't see him doing it. Kazuma, I don't see him making the cut. Richard Bland, like I said, Richard Bland's interesting too. He's won the senior PGA championship last year. He finished 14th this year in the senior PGA. He's had a few top 5 finishes on LIV, top 10 finishes. He's played well this year on LIV, extremely well. I swear, it's like Phil. These older guys are having great seasons right now. I actually think Bland makes the cut. Ballestier, he's the young Spaniard who turned down the Korn Ferry Tour membership and signed with LIV. He's on Sergio's squad, the Fireballs, and so he's kind of representing the Fireballs because obviously Sergio did not make the U.S. Open this year. He broke his streak of 25 straight years at the U.S. Open. So I don't see him making the cut though. Patrick Reed, 99% makes the cut. Cam Smith, he's playing well. He's just, I don't think he's got the driving accuracy to make the cut. Wouldn't shock me if he makes the cut. I just don't see it. His driving is just, it's just subpar when it comes to this course.
So, Scooter, you basically went through this list and you think that there's going to be about 7 guys on it in your mind from the LIV Tour.
Yeah, and I could see it, like I said, I think 50% or below 50%. And I'm giving Bland a little bit of a flyer there. And I'm giving Leishman a little bit of a flyer.
Right. Because I was going to give you a side bet on this that said I would set the over-under at 5.5. And I think
take the over.
I know you would. So we should have a little side bet on that because these look like golfers that are not going to get out. They may not even make it through Thursday without withdrawing some of these guys. So.
Oh my God. That's a little bit of a hot take there. I think that's a little uncalled for. No one's walking off the course, Tom.
All right. Well, then why don't we have a side bet on that? 5.5 is the number.
All right.
So I even think some of these top guys could miss it.
I'll mow your lawn.
We'll have something more substantial. We'll do an offline bet on that. And we'll.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I win, you're gonna caddy for me.
Well, that might be the bet. Is the caddy.
The caddy.
Loser caddies for the winner.
And then we go over to the PGA side. Now, I will say the LIV guys, those are not ranked 1 through 14. Those are just the 14 that made it. However, on the PGA side, these are according to the OWGR, which again is suspect, to say the least. But these are the top 20 in the OWGR that I believe all these guys are in the tournament. I did not check everyone. I just assumed they were all there. But now if we go through these top 20, who is there anyone that screams will not make the cut?
I mean, to me, I think there's a lot of people right now that I've heard that like Ben Griffin, and I think he's become a little bit overvalued. I would perhaps bet on him to miss the cut. I think he's had some great success, right? He's won a couple tournaments, but I think he's going to get into this on this course, and I think he's plus money to miss the cut, which I think is a good value, even though there are people who still think he's so hot that he's going to be a possible top 5 or top 10 this week. I don't agree with that. I'm going to be contrarian on this one and put a play. That's going to be one of my plays, I think, if he's plus money to miss the cut.
We have Ben Griffin at plus 150 right now.
And that's to miss the cut.
To miss the cut.
Yeah, that's going to be a play for me. I think there's too many people that are buying into him after having, his recent success. The other guy on here that I think could miss the cut is JT.
Really?
He's you know what? Almost every time he plays at a tough course, he starts whining. Right? So he's been quoted a little bit as not, things aren't fair to him. He's a bit negative towards the conditions. I remember going to a U.S. Open a while back, and there was a green. My brother and I were watching, and the ball kept kind of coming back, and he was basically complaining after the tournament that it was unfair. Well, it's the same for all of the players on the course. So it's no different for you, JT, than anyone else. So I think I'll bet JT to miss the cut.
Ooh,
you think people?
You'll get some plus money on that.
Right. So those two guys, to me, are overvalued. I know everybody likes Rory to miss the cut because he played poorly last week. I'm not gonna follow that. I think that's
I still think last week was not necessarily here. Well, why don't we just jump right on into the top 5 bets? So here's the current odds to win top 5 and top 10s. So if we look at, you're mentioning Rory. Obviously, Rory's up here, but you kind of like Corey Connors. So let's see where Corey Connors is. So he's plus 6,000 to win, plus 750 top 5. I think top 5 is a little aggressive.
Yeah, I like him. I'm going to be more likely to just bet him to win it because I don't think those are great odds for top 5 at 750. Right. I'll just go, and if he happens to be in it on Sunday, I'll find a way to hedge off. If he's doing well, I did that last week when Sam Burns choked away his chance to win by missing a 5-footer, and Fox, made a putt that, how that ball went in on the 18th hole was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like he had a leprechaun above him knocking the ball in the hole. So luckily I was able to hedge that off, but that was very irritating. And Burns is another one I think could flop this week after the rough loss last week. But
I could see that. I can see that. I like Morikawa. I'll probably take a flyer on him to win it. At plus 25.
25 to 1, yeah. I mean, I'm more likely to stay away from him in this tournament, but he does have accurate driving and great iron play like Connors with some other attributes, which is why he's at 25 to 1 instead of 60.
And what do you think about Lowry, taking a flyer on him?
Yeah, I do like Lowry. I like Lowry. The guys, I'll tell you, I did a DFS team that helps me get grounded. And the team I've got right now is I did take Schauffele, Xander on that team, along with Lowry, Fleetwood, Connors, Fitzpatrick. And I'm kind of waffling.
Fleetwood. He ain't winning.
What's that?
I love Tommy Fleetwood, but he ain't winning.
But again, this is a DFS team, Scooter. This is
that's right.
You're
team, right. You're doing a draw fantasy.
But this helps me get a little grounded. So again, Xander, Lowry, Fleetwood, Connors, Fitzpatrick, and maybe a little bit of Straka were the guys that I put on that team. Now, Fitzpatrick, I think, is also at 120-1 if you go down in your odds. And he loves these tough courses and loves the challenge. And he's been playing a little bit better.
I'm sorry,
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick.
I got him.
I like Fitzpatrick too.
I got him at about 120-1 earlier. Yeah, he's still up there at 120-1. He's right there. So I do like Lowry, to answer your question, and I do like Straka. Sounds like you're cold on Fleetwood. I still like him. I
like him to make the cut. I don't like him coming anywhere near top 10.
Well, remember that if you go back to 2018, he went toe-to-toe with Koepka and was playing extremely good golf and got second place. I think he plays the tough courses. A lot of these guys like Lowry and Fleetwood, who are from, not our country, play well on these tough courses, right? Because they're used to the conditions being a little bit
right. And listen, the fairways are firm as heck, and the greens are going to be firm as well. And there's some weather that might come in Saturday, but that's about it that I've seen.
By the way, Scooter, I'm going to be there on Saturday and Sunday at the Open. So
you're killing me. Hey, Scott, maybe you want to come with me. Yo, you know what, Tom? That's a good idea.
I invited my brother instead. Maybe next time we'll get you in.
Yeah, I see where I rank. I guess that makes sense. What about Denny McCarthy? Any interest there?
I mean, great putter, but I don't know.
That's all it is. Great putter.
Actually, I did not really handicap him. He could be, for all I know, he could be a decent fit for this course, but he wasn't someone that
Dustin's all the way down. Dustin's 170.
It almost makes you want to bet him when he's down to 170-1, doesn't it?
I know, but I'm telling you, I'm betting him to miss the cut.
Yeah, well, can you wear shorts? Because I know that's what these live guys have to wear in order to compete.
They changed the rules.
All right.
They're only allowed to wear shorts, I think, if it's above 95 degrees.
Oh, so if it's a little too hot, then they can wear shorts.
Because
they only have to play 54 holes.
They play all over the world, Tom. Not like it's not just one country in the world. You got to play in these other places. They're growing the game because you don't like it. Oh, you know what? I was looking on DraftKings earlier, and they didn't have the 3 balls up. They have the 3-ball specials up now. Actually, let's look at tee times. Any interest? Who cares about tee times?
Well, I mean, the tee times would only matter if we thought there was going to be a weather difference on Thursday and Friday, which I don't think we think there will be. So
correct.
If we're going to get some winds in the afternoon or some things that could really adjust it, that would be more important. I don't really think that the tee times are a major factor on Thursday and Friday. And then we're obviously don't care about it on the weekend because they've made their cut. So
what do you think of this grouping, though? You have Xander, the new kid, Ballestier, and you have Bryson. That's a heck of a 3-ball right there.
Yeah. Is there a bet on DeChambeau to finish third amongst those 3?
You are killing me. He's beaten both of them.
I mean, DeChambeau to miss the cut probably is a generous. I got to write that one down as a possibility. Although I don't, that one I probably won't bet, to be honest.
No, you should. You should just throw away that money. You should just throw it away. Let's see if I can find English, Fleetwood, Bradley. So here we have Harris English, Tommy Fleetwood, and Keegan Bradley.
See, now all 3 of those, I got to tell you, I like all 3 of those guys. Every one of those. I told you Fleetwood was on my team. Bradley, I had circled. I think he's 90-1 as a possible account play. And I mean, all those guys, I think all 3 of those guys could be dangerous in this. Flip back up to that for a minute, to that 3-ball. Let's just talk about
so
that.
these 3 balls are only about hitting greens. There's no head-to-heads.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because if you had this is a green only hit. Okay. Because the other thing is Harris English is another player in there who I know a lot of the experts are kind of. I mean, he's had some success this year. He's 100-1, I think, on the odds board. So he's another guy that could,
Who's 100-1?
Could be a decent English.
English.
Yeah, and Bradley's 90-1. But that
Bradley, I like watching. I like Bradley.
I mean, we probably got to move. Maybe we move to like who we like, who we're going to put in our accounts this week.
That works. All right, let's do that. So, who are your top 5 locks? What top 5 guys are you betting? Either we'll go top 10 or higher. What 5 guys are you confident will be top 10 or higher?
Okay, so you basically see. Here's the thing: I'm not going to bet them because I don't necessarily like the odds.
Then, so are you not betting 5 people to be top 10 or higher?
Probably not. I think I'm going to bet. I might bet Keegan Bradley as a top 10. I think at 450 is what I thought I saw for him. So he's down at 90-1 to win the whole thing.
Yeah, he's 450.
450. So I think I'm going to do a top 10 on Keegan. And I think that's probably going to be it for the top 10 guys. And then I'm going to bet, just kind of reviewing this, I'm going to bet Ben Griffin to miss the cut and JT to miss the cut. So those are 2 other bets I'm going to put in. So Thomas to miss the cut, Griffin to miss the cut, Keegan Bradley top 10. And then I'm going to take, to win the tournament, I'm going to bet Lowry. And I think he's sitting out there at around 45-1 on DraftKings.
Okay.
So I'm going to bet on Lowry and I'm going to bet on Straka. They're both very accurate. Straka's, I think, 50. Lowry's 45. And of course, I'm going to bet on
Straka to win?
Straka to win and Connors to win. So those 3 guys, Lowry, Straka, and Connors, are kind of those middling to high odd guys. And then I mentioned my DFS team. The question really is do I do something with Fleetwood at 35 or Xander at 22 in the account? And I'm going to kind of maybe wait for a possible in play on those guys. And so my to win guys are going to be Lowry, Straka, Connors, and I might throw Keegan Bradley in there, not only for top 10, but to bet him to win at 90-1. So
which
those are
did you have missing the cut? You had Thomas and who else missing the cut?
Griffin. And then I'm also going to throw, if you could call up Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
I'm going to put him in to win at 120. What are his odds for top 10? Because that's another bet that I've been thinking about. It's 650.
650.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little light, I think.
Yeah, I think you would like it more at like 7 or 750.
Yeah, I would rather have him kind of just throw a flyer on him. He plays the tough courses really well. He's really been positive. Another guy might fade is Hatton. He's been whining a little bit this week about the rough size, and any of these guys that come in and complain are guys I might fade. So I'm going to look at him to possibly miss the cut as an outside bet too. And here's the other guy that's been doing a lot of whining that people are betting because of the odds is Hovland. He's been complaining
Victor. I like Victor too, though.
I know you do, but he's been complaining about the par 3, the 8th hole.
Well, it's 299 freaking yards.
Yeah, but no one else is complaining. Why's he got to complain about it?
Morikawa hit driver there yesterday or Monday.
Yeah, he just hit driver and went about his business, whereas Hovland has been bitching about it. So
here's the question: What would you rather see? Do you like the 299 par 3, or would you rather like what the 12th hole at the Masters?
I'd rather have a guy not complain about it when it's even for everybody. So my thought there is that Hovland is sort of a possible fade for me, maybe in a matchup though, not so much in a miscut, but just throwing that out there. That Hatton and Hovland are fades for me, Thomas and Griffin are missed the cuts for me, and then the guys that I went over to put in, to win the tournament, right? Straka,
So I have
Connors.
you at Keegan top 5. Maybe you throw a flyer on Keegan to win. You have Thomas and Ben Griffin both missing the cut. You have Straka, Lowry, and Connors with win bets.
And Fitzpatrick.
Oh, and Fitzpatrick. And then you have Phage, where you might throw something in after day 1 or day 2 on Hovland and Hatton.
Yes, against them. To go against them in some way.
Gotcha.
Right. And then the other thing I like to bet once in a while is a round 1 leader. And this is one of those things
is such
where
a tough one.
I know. But I thought about Cam Young because I think he's like 100-1 to win it, and he's more likely to play well early. He's hard to sustain it. But if I can get the right type of bet there on a guy who's long shot after round 1 to win, good to call that up because then we want to get to your plays.
Again, the only round 1 I would take would be Morikawa.
So you'd go for him at 35-1. Why don't you scan down a little bit and see? Because I'm more likely to go like a Keegan. I don't know if I want to put so much on him though.
6,000.
Cam Young is 75-1.
Yeah.
The guys like that who maybe don't hold up for the whole tournament but could really bring it the first day.
And I can't lie, I kind of like Aaron Ra a little bit for round 1.
He's another guy at 75-1 for round 1 that could be good with a good driving down the middle, right? So, guys that may go into the account could be a guy like Ray or Young or Keegan, maybe as round 1 leaders. But those would be, pizza money on those small dollars. Probably less than a Mount Tabor poker entry.
Yeah, I would definitely think so.
Or a Picatinny suite. Those guys up at Picatinny, they don't know how to bet, so you're betting like 50 cents with those guys.
I know. For the audience, Tom and I are members at Picatinny Arsenal in northern New Jersey, and Tom's also a member of Mount Tabor Country Club, also in northern New Jersey.
And you might as well tell the group your player of the year at Mount Tabor a couple of years ago.
I will.
And so then you moved on to a new course so you could, double down.
I'm up. Yeah, we'll see how it goes this year. No player of the year tournament, but we'll see if we can get the President's Cup.
All right, let's get to your pick, Scooter.
Okay, so I'm more into the miss cut kind of thing. So I've been looking at the miss cuts, and obviously to miss the cut, I like Dustin missing the cut. I don't care so much about the juice. Like Dustin should be higher up. You're probably
going to lay juice on him though, quite a bit.
Yeah, no, you can't be as much as Phil. Yeah, minus 145. But I like Dustin.
That's not bad. Actually, that's not bad.
And in all reality, I can probably parlay Dustin and Phil and get a little better odds because I think they both missed the cut. So let me pull this up real quick.
Two of your LIV boys you're betting against.
Yeah, I am because they listen. It is what it is. All right, so I got missed the cut. I got Dustin and Phil. All right, I'm putting my Bryson to win it. I think he's going for the repeat. I think he has a good shot at repeating. The one thing I love that always bodes well with him in these U.S. Opens, he's got strength to spare. So when these balls do get in the rough, and they'll be in the rough for him, he gets them out and gets them further than anyone else does. So that's why I like Bryson to repeat and win.
You know what I'm sort of picturing him doing is he's going to drive the ball far, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get in the thick 5-inch rough, and he's already yanking his irons, which cost him some tournaments, and he's going to yank this thing into some sort of bad bunker or terrible rough by the green, and then shank one over the green. I see him like just blowing this thing up, and you know,
listen, so he screwed up at the Masters.
The more we're talking about this, the more I want to bet the guy to miss the cut. But
he's not missing the cut. But I think you should bet him to miss the cut. He's not missing the cut. So my top 10s, I have Lowry. I am going to throw Connors in there. I actually took Connors last week at the RBC to win it, and that didn't go very well for him.
He did okay, but he didn't do enough.
He
just didn't do enough.
You know, I wasn't thinking English, but now I'm kind of thinking English. But I love
that's
more.
That's a great long. I think that's a good long shot bet, and you've got some real golf handicappers out there who I think feel like that's a great bet at 100-1. So
yeah,
I may throw that in as that. By the way, Scott, that could be the another round one leader bet.
It could be. It really could be.
Like
yeah. I think this course is so punishing. I think picking a round one leader, I think, is harder than anything, because you just need a ball to go in the wrong spot at one hole, and you know, your good round, you go from, you know, having a shot at a birdie to, you know, trying to save double bogey, like, you know, like that. So I have Dustin and Phil missing the cut. I have Bryson, Morikawa winning. I might put English in there to win. My top 10 right now is Lowry and Connors. I'm not really fading on anyone. I haven't given it that much thought about that. I don't love Hatton anyway. I do like your Fitzpatrick though pick.
Yeah, I wish we could get a little better. I might look around to see if I could get like 8-1 for him as a top 10. It's 650 felt a little light, but if you give me 8 or 9, maybe a boost on him. The one thing I feel about him is A, he's played a lot better recently, and B, these tough courses he loves the challenge of the tough course.
Yeah.
Versus Justin Thomas, who wants an easy course where he can win at 21 under, which we witnessed, by the way, when we were in Selena.
I'm gonna go with that. That's your hot take right there. Justin Thomas not whining. All right, I think that's we got. Okay, so let's go. What would be a sleeper pick? If you had to, let's do a sleeper pick to miss the cut.
To miss the cut, and then we should have one to make the cut.
That sounds good.
Well, I mean, the obvious one is Rory, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to say the sleeper pick to miss the cut is you know what is Bryson at to miss the cut?
Plus 340. What are you doing to me?
Plus 340. Yeah, I won't go against your winner there. How about Rahm?
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I was going to say
Rahm. Because Rahm is a little bit of a hothead. He could get a little frustrated.
He can get a little squirrely.
The thing is, he could win this thing too, right?
Oh,
like
100%. Well, that's a great thing, right? This is your bold prediction, your sleeper pick.
I do like him at 330 though. I do like him if I'm going to bet that a guy to miss the cut that's high in the odds board. I mean, Scotty would be like, you're just sort of like,
just
put $20 on it and hope you win. I feel like Rahm there's a chance he's struggled in some of these majors. I would take Rahm as the long shot to miss.
You know what? I hate to do this, but that was who I was going to pick. So I will change my pick, and I'm going to throw Xander on that because that was my other one.
At 235. The problem with Xander is you don't get Here's the thing that's odd about this, Scott. Xander is longer odds to win, but less juice to miss the cut.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like I
don't really like. That's why I don't like that. It's not a LIV versus tour.
No.
It's like the value doesn't seem right there. Like that Rahm at 330, if you can get that, and the fact that Rahm is 330 and Bryson's 340 doesn't reconcile either. That they're that close.
Now, I will say the only reason I'm not taking Rahm is because you did.
Well, you don't need it. We can agree on it. We can agree.
I know, but yeah, when we do our recap show next week.
Remember, I'm already taking
I'll be able to look.
JT for a real bet at 175.
That is true. All right, so who's going to make the cut that shouldn't?
All right, so the one guy that I feel that I've looked at a little bit that could be, what is a Brandt Snedeker at to make the cut?
Is he? I don't think he's in the tournament.
Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure. I thought he was anyway.
I thought I looked earlier and I didn't see him. No, I don't think he is, partner.
No, maybe not. He was commenting though, so I feel maybe he's also not listed.
No, I'm here. I'll do this. No.
So he may not have qualified for it. He may have. Yeah. There was some stuff out there on his comments, but he may be, not. He may not have qualified to be able to be in this thing, even though there's so many names on here that are
I know. So my flyer to make the cut is going to be the kid from New Jersey that got in through the Open qualifier. His name's Ryan McCormick. Yeah. I gotta find. I don't know what his odds are, but I'm gonna take him as my. Yeah, there is. He's only plus 220, but he's gonna be my flyer to make the cut.
You don't get great odds on the make the cut flyers here, and I think the cut could be at +9 on this tournament, +8 or +9.
Well, we didn't even touch base on that. We're running a little bit out of time. But let's touch on a couple of things. Well, I still need your flyer to make cut or your sleeper to make cut. I'll get that in a second. But what do you think your winning score is? Is it plus? Is it under par or over par?
I'm going to say it's 1 under par.
All right. I was going to say even, but I still think it's either even or over par. I don't think anyone wins under par.
I think I can see somebody battling on late Saturday, -2, -1, and that's kind of holds up through Sunday where somebody's able to sort of hang around that number. I think the odds are at 1.5 under. So I wouldn't really personally wouldn't recommend
that's the over under
one way.
No, I wouldn't.
If you could get a little bit of an alternate line on that, and you you get juice if it's over par, maybe you take a flyer on that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But I kind of feel like someone's going to be in that -1 range to the winner.
All right. So I'm gonna go
here's
back.
Another bet. Here's another bet that I was kind of looking at is they have a bet of the field versus the top 4 guys. Top 4 being Rahm, Rory,
Bryson and
Scotty and Bryson. That was not a bad looking bet. I feel like the field was -125. I think I'm going to lay some lumber on that if I can find it around 125, 130 even. Because you give me that many golfers against 4 guys, and all it takes is
that's one ball in the wrong spot.
Right, and I feel like there's just too much Scotty love here. I mean, what I really want to do is bet him to miss the cut, but that feels like just stupid money. Yeah.
You just can't. All right, your sleeper to make the cut. Like a Phil.
Well, feel
free to go with Phil.
The problem with this is, can you move up a little bit? I mean, I'm looking at Dunlop, but he's such a rookie.
To make the cut. Here we go. To make the cut. Yeah. Who are you thinking?
Keep going up. Where is Grillo? Is he in here? I don't know if he's much of a sleeper, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not really a sleeper, though.
That's
I think he's closer to even. Yeah.
+1.
No, that's not a sleeper. Go down a little bit more. I might have to go to Dunlop, actually.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah, he's at 230. I think that's the guy I'd probably take. I just feel like that's going to be. He's an awfully young new golfer. That'll be a tough task. But I'm not going to bet that. But you're asking me who is it in this board of +200s? He's probably the guy that I would land on.
All right, that's all their bets. I will post it up there later. I saw this and I thought this was an interesting little flyer. So these are the food prices at the tournament. Yeah, just kind of interesting. If anyone's interested in food
It's
prices.
funny. I'm going to care about that because I'm going to be
You are,
there.
because you're going there.
It doesn't look terrible, actually.
It does not.
Really
And that was
doesn't.
pretty much what I was reading online. Is that it's not Masters, but it's still reasonable.
You go $12 for a Miller Lite, you pay $15, $16, $17 for that at Yankee Stadium.
Yes, you do.
These do not look like bad prices.
Yeah.
Not going to spend a lot of time at the concession stands other than maybe getting some drinks, but
yeah. Okay, that is episode 1 of the Play It Down podcast. I want to thank Jonesy for joining. We will be doing this again, hopefully next week, as we do a recap and see how our bets turned out. And we'll talk US Open. We're going to be doing a few more episodes, pretty much getting ready for football season. And we'll probably have some interesting takes on the NBA basketball. We didn't get into the NBA or the NHL. The only thing I'll say about those is the NHL killed me last night. That game was horrific. And it was just such a painful watch, and I don't know what Indiana.
My only bet on that game last night, Scooter, was I felt that coming back to Florida, the game would go under 6.5 goals, and that Edmonton decided to accumulate so many penalty minutes.
Oh my God! 80, last I saw was 85.
Sure, like you or I could have scored against them at the end of that game.
Oh my God!
It went over with 7 goals. So I feel like Edmonton, it made me kind of aggravate. Edmonton owes me a check or something for the way they played at the end of that game.
I did have Sam Bennett scoring a goal, so I won a little bit of juice on that one. So I was happy about that. But other than that, that game had nothing for me. I had Edmonton up 2-1 after 3, so that was a loss. That was a loss by it felt like 2 minutes into the game. That was a loss. But
yeah.
So yes, we'll have a recap next week of the US Open 2025 at Oakmont. Please enjoy the golf, enjoy everything else.
You got the Travelers coming up. Another elevated event coming up after this one too.
We could talk for another hour on this stuff. But no, we're gonna save it for the next episode. We're running long. I want to again thank everyone. Enjoy it. Thanks for watching. And there's our social. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. We are out.